the fourth theory lecture of the week, and we plan to cover the following 7 points under the heading Learning the Fundamentals. So, some of the things which we are going to discuss are expected to be known by a student who is into third year of engineering, because he has learnt and understood these concepts, but because of any reason whatsoever, if he has skipped or is not clear about them, it will be a revision. In addition to that, there are certain aspects which are important to understand and clarify from power electronics viewpoint. I'm going to touch upon them. So the things which you plan to discuss in the next 50 minutes are as follows: types of electrical voltages, types of content in any signal waveform, types of AC supplies, why diode is called as uncontrolled rectifier, concept of NSP, that is natural switching point, sinusoidal versus non-sinusoidal waveforms, and last is effect of nature of load on nature of IL. Now, as the discussion progresses, I will try my best to cover all 7 points, but if I feel certain points need more discussions, we may not be able to complete all 7 today. No issues, we are not in any hurry. We can always continue the pending points on Monday 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. But I wish that we should give justice to every point because it is very important. So point by point we will discuss. So I have just jotted out the points, but I do have the elaboration at my end, which I will write on the screen. So types of electrical voltages. So these are fundamentals. So I recommend student to be very attentive on the screen and listen what I am telling. So first is you should unmute yourself because it is being recorded. So types of electrical voltages. So the first classification of voltages is DC voltages and AC voltages. Now, why I'm taking this thing? Because this contains what you know and it also contains what you do not know. So when we use the terms DC and AC, usually it indicates pure DC and pure AC respectively. Getting me, na? So I would like to clarify here that usually the terms DC, they refer to pure DC. Getting me? And pure DC means it is a constant positive or negative voltage which is not a function of time t. So usually the terms DC means pure DC, which means a constant positive or negative voltage, which is not a function of time t. So when we say 5 volt DC, and if you want to draw a waveform for it, usually we will draw it like this: t in seconds, and we have V, and we have here written 5. So it is 5 here, and it is 5 here also. Okay. Similarly, when I say the term AC, it means pure AC. So similarly, when I say AC, it means pure AC, and actually refers to a sinusoidal signal. Okay, which is a function of sin omega t. Okay, and the value of voltage specified is usually RMS. So if I want to say 230 volt, 50 hertz AC signal, and I want to draw a waveform for it, naturally I will draw it like this. I will say it as V like this because it represents instantaneous value. So this is 0, and we have pi, and we have 2 pi, and we have a 3 pi, and we have Vm here, and we have minus Vm here, and this will be pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, and 5 pi by 2, and it will peak at pi by 2. It will have a negative peak at 3 pi by 2. Again it will peak here like this. Okay. Okay, this is pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, this will be pi by 2, this will be 3 pi by 2. Okay, and it is a function of time. This will be 1 cycle. What I want to bring to our notice is when I say it is DC, then it actually refers to a unidirectional signal. Okay, and this unidirectional signal can either be above x-axis or below x-axis. So if I want to draw the waveform for a minus 10 volt DC, then minus 10 volt DC would indicate a pure DC, and it has to be drawn something like this V, and it will be like this minus 10. Okay, so whether it is plus 5 volt DC or minus 10 volt DC, basically it is a unidirectional signal. While when I speak about AC, it is actually bidirectional signal. Okay, so this is a bidirectional signal. It is also symmetric and it is also periodic. It is bidirectional, symmetric and periodic, while DC signal is unidirectional signal. Now we come back to our point that while voltages are classified as DC and AC, because DC usually means pure DC, the first type of DC which comes is actually pure DC. Pure DC. Second which comes is pulsating DC. And third which comes is called as chopped DC. Got a point? So pure DC is nothing but like. Now again, I would like to go into another subroutine. First, we went to a subroutine to explain that what the terms DC and AC in a plain sense mean. Now I would like to shift to another point called as types of contents in any waveform. So now assuming a non-random signal which can be mathematically defined, we can say that any waveform can have two kinds of content. It can have a DC content and it can have an AC content, right? And because we told that DC means pure DC and AC means pure AC, we are now defining two alternate terms which will differentiate the which will differentiate to us what is the difference between pure DC and impure DC and between pure AC and impure AC. So the terms are average and RMS. Okay, so I can say that DC, since it refers to pure DC and since AC refers to pure AC, we coined two new terms called as average and RMS. Okay, so we say instead of calling it as DC content, we say it is called as average content, and here instead of AC content we call it as RMS content. Okay, now in any waveform we can have non-zero average content and zero average content. Similarly, in RMS content we can have again non-zero RMS content and zero RMS content. Now if we consider pure DC waveforms, because it does not have any AC content, we can say that pure DC signal is an example which is having a zero RMS content. Okay, so here we can make a comment that a pure DC signal has non-zero average value and it has a zero RMS value. Because in a pure DC signal there is no AC, so we say that a pure DC signal has a non-zero average value and zero RMS value. Similarly, we can define that a pure AC signal has a zero average value and it has a non-zero RMS value. And do you know why a pure signal has zero average value? Because if we see a pure AC signal, it is symmetric about the x-axis in both half cycles. This is what I mean. So all of us know that this is the positive half cycle from 0 to pi, and this is a negative half cycle from pi to 2 pi. And if we see carefully, then the area of positive half cycle above x-axis is exactly equal to the area of the negative half cycle which exists below x-axis. That is why, because the area of the positive half cycle and negative half cycle above and below x-axis over one cycle is equal. That is why a pure AC signal has a zero average value. On the other hand, if we see DC signal here, the area above x-axis can be proved that it is equal to 5. Similarly, that for -10 can be proved to -10. Getting the point? That is why unidirectional signals, they always have a non-zero average value. Got the point? And they can have a non-zero RMS value too. Got the point? So it's like that. Okay, so pure DC signal, it has a non-zero average value and it has a zero RMS value, while pure AC signal has zero average value and non-zero RMS value. That is why here, coming back, we will have to define the VAVG and VRMS for every waveform which we consider. Got the point? So we can say that for a pure DC signal, VAVG is not equal to 0, but VRMS is equal to 0. For pure AC signal, we have VAVG equal to 0 and we have VRMS not equal to 0. Very clear about these things. Now we come here. So pure DC, very quickly we'll draw the waveforms. So here examples are if this is equal to x, then we can say that this waveform has average value equal to x. Because it is existing only about x-axis, it will equal to 0. Conversely, if we take example of another signal which is also DC in nature and it is having value -y, we can say VAVG equal to -y volts and again VRMS equal to 0. Now we come to the second category called pulsating DC, which you are very well aware of because you have seen this in rectifiers. So in pulsating DC, we can give examples of both half wave rectifier and full wave rectified waveforms. So okay, V and V. So 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi. 0, pi, 2 pi and 3 pi. Okay. Now, in second year we don't need to derive, but then please understand one thing, that in the previous case of pure DC, the waveform is existing either above x-axis or below x-axis. And one important thing about both of these signals is that they are not undergoing any change. Getting me? I repeat that the pure DC waveforms shown here are not changing at all. That is why, because there is no change in the value of both the signals, that is why their AC content is 0 or RMS is equal to 0. RMS content is 0. But here we see that in pulsating DC, the waveform is unidirectional, but it is also changing. I repeat, in pulsating DC, in both the waveforms, the common thing about both the waveforms, so the relationship between pulsating DC waveforms and pure DC waveform is that in both the waveforms are unidirectional. But the difference is that in pure DC, the voltage is not changing, but in pulsating DC, it is changing. Because the pulsating DC waveforms are both unidirectional and changing, these waveforms will have both a non-zero average value and a non-zero RMS value. So again, I'm repeating, pure DC has non-zero average and zero RMS. Pure AC has zero average, non-zero RMS, but pulsating DC waveforms are examples of waveforms which have both non-zero average and non-zero RMS. Now we will put down the formulas. So for the first one, we have VAVG equal to Vm upon pi, and the RMS content is equal to Vm upon 2. On the other hand, for full wave rectified pulsating DC waveforms, we have VAVG is twice Vm upon pi, and my Vrms is now equal to Vm upon root 2. Okay, so pulsating DC waveforms are examples where we have both non-zero RMS and non-zero average value. We now come to the third category, that is chopped DC waveforms. So chopped DC is nothing but if you cut this pure DC waveform at definite intervals of time, then you will get chopped DC. I will show you how. Okay, if suppose I chop this DC waveform at regular intervals of time, then it is an example of chopped DC. So when you vertically chop a pure DC waveform in time scale, you get a chopped DC. And if you see the waveform, you will understand that, sir, this is known as PWM. Okay, I'll draw the waveform. So this is an example of a chopped DC with respect to time V. Okay, naturally this will be the time period T. This will be T on, remaining is T off. So we know that in this waveform, my duty cycle is equal to T on upon T. And for your information, this is another example of a waveform which has both non-zero average and non-zero RMS value. It is having a non-zero average value because the waveform is existing only above x-axis. But because it is not constant, it is changing. That is why it is also having a non-zero RMS. So anything which does not change has a zero RMS and non-zero average value. Anything which changes but is bidirectionally symmetric, it will have a zero average value and a non-zero RMS value. So here mathematically for this waveform, VAVG is equal to delta into x. So this is x. Okay, and Vrms is equal to under root of duty cycle into x. Okay, So we have covered all three categories of DC waveforms. Now we go to AC waveforms. So the first category, as usual, is pure AC. The second category is chopped AC, and third category is non-sinusoidal AC. We'll draw waveform so things will become more clear. So AC or pure AC is that which we already drew. The time scale is omega t, 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi. We have Vm minus Vm. So the VAVG for pure AC is 0 and Vrms is equal to Vm by root 2. Okay. Okay. Now in chopped AC, what we do is that, again, just like in order to convert a pure DC into chopped DC, we had chopped the DC waveform vertically on time scale. Similarly here also, in order to convert a pure AC into a chopped AC, I am going to chop the AC waveform in the vertical direction like this. So I will chop it like this symmetrically. Okay, and the instant at which I chop this AC is called as alpha, and because the two half cycles are separated from each other by omega t equal to pi, that is why this point now will now become pi plus alpha. You understand? Because positive half cycle PHC and negative half cycle NHC are separated by a phase difference of pi. That is why if I chop the positive half cycle at omega t equal to alpha, I have to chop the negative half cycle at pi plus alpha. So now the waveform takes this form. So what happens basically is I have to remove this section. So when I chop it at alpha, these sections are removed. Okay, what remains is called as chopped DC. So the waveform will now look like this. The chopping instants alpha and pi plus alpha. So see now how I draw it. Everything else remains the same. And for such a waveform, please understand that the average content will again be 0. Why? Because the area of the positive half cycle above x-axis is exactly same as the area of negative half cycle below x-axis. That is why, although I am chopping the pure AC waveform, the average value still remains 0, but now the RMS value has a different formula. So again I will write down for this waveform my VAVG is 0 and VRMS has a frightening form. It is given as Vm upon root 2 into 1 upon pi into brace bracket pi minus alpha plus 1 upon 2 sine 2 alpha under root. Okay, this formula derivation will be done, right? So now the RMS content of this waveform is now a function of the value of alpha. So alpha pi, pi plus alpha, 2 pi, 2 pi plus alpha, 3 pi, right? So if the chopping instant in positive half cycle is same as chopping instant in negative half cycle, then and only then the average value will be equal to 0, otherwise it will not be 0. So if time permits, I will show you some waveforms in which it is a chopped AC, but then the average value is non-zero. Okay, non-sinusoidal AC is an important thing which we need to know. So examples of non-sinusoidal AC are square wave, Cauchy square wave, and triangular waves, right? So I will not speak about triangular waves because they are not a part of series. Power electronics as such does not have anything to give and take with triangular waves, but it has a lot to give and take with square waves, right? So we have a square wave and we have a Cauchy square wave, right? There is something special about a square wave and Cauchy square wave. So we represent square wave like this. Right? So you have plus x minus x, and you have the instant t by 2 here and t here. Now again, square wave also is symmetrical about the x-axis over both its half cycles. That is why we can with confidence say that the average content of square wave is 0. Okay, what about RMS content? The RMS content is equal to x volts. Okay, let us come to Cauchy square wave, which is a modification of square wave. So what I will do, I will first draw a square wave and then I will convert it into Cauchy square wave. Right. So now what I do is, this is 0, this is t by 2, okay, and this is t. So I take the midpoint of this. So this midpoint will be called as t by 2, and this midpoint is called as 3t by 2. Now what I do, I go equally on both the directions. By how much? I go delta to the left and delta to the right. Okay, so this instant will be called as t by 2 minus delta, and this instant is called as t by 2 plus delta. Similarly, what I do is I go delta to the right, delta to the left. So this instant will be 3t by 2 plus delta, and this instant will be 3t by 2 minus delta. Basically this bit become 2 delta. So now I will start chopping it. Okay, so I will chop it from here like this. I will also chop it from here like this. Similarly, I will chop it like this, and I will also chop it like this. Okay, chop this also, this also, this also. Now the waveform will look like this. It will exist from t by 2 minus delta to t by 2 plus delta. It will exist from 3t by 2 minus delta to 3t by 2 plus delta. This is a Cauchy square wave, and this is 2 delta. This is also 2 delta. Okay, Again, because in the Cauchy square wave, we see that the area above x-axis in the first half cycle is equal to the area below x-axis next half cycle. Cauchy square wave will again have average value equal to 0. So I can say very safely that V average is equal to 0. Now, what about RMS? The RMS value of this waveform, if suppose these levels are plus x and minus x, then VRMS is given as under root of 2 by 3 into x. Terms and conditions apply if 2 delta is equal to 120 degrees or 2 pi by 3 radians, right? So if my 2 delta is equal to 120 degrees or 2 pi by 3 radians, then this waveform will have an RMS value under root of 2 by 3. So it is basically equal to 0.81 times x. Okay. So see, in Cauchy square wave, if I change the value of delta, then the RMS content will also change. Is it clear? So we have discussed about 3 kinds of AC waveforms: pure AC, chopped AC and non-sinusoidal AC. Okay. Now, what is the disadvantage of square wave and what is the advantage of Cauchy square wave? So when Cauchy square wave was there, some people felt, mathematicians, that there is a problem with the square wave, and to solve that they came about with a modification, that is chopped square wave. So I can say that the Cauchy square wave is nothing but it is a chopped square wave. So I will say Cauchy square wave is a chopped square wave. Okay. Now we'll touch upon the harmonic content here. I'm taking a detour, but it is essential. Now I want to know from your side, can somebody comment on the frequency spectrum of sinusoidal waveform? Yes. Let me first draw a sine wave, okay? Consider a 1 kilohertz sine wave. Hmm? Because there is a 1 kilowatt sine wave, that means one cycle will be equal to 1 milliseconds. So pi, 2 pi, yeah. Okay, so this is a 1 kilohertz sine wave. Can somebody tell what will be the frequency content of this sine wave? Yes. So I can say frequency content is better. Now I am going to write down some frequencies and you have to tell me whether I should put a tick or a cross in front of them. Okay. value in kilohertz and whether it is existing or non-existing. Okay. Yeah, start telling that in this particular 1 kilohertz sine wave, if I see the frequency spectrum of the signal, then amongst all these written values, which are the frequencies which are existing in the waveform? This is in time domain. Yes. Tell where I should put a tick mark and where I should put a cross. Yes. Okay, I think so. I have to unmute people. Yes, now we are allowed to unmute. Yeah, tell me, in this 1 kilohertz sine wave, if I observe this frequency spectrum, out of the frequencies written, which are existing and which are non-existing? Yes, no one? Nobody knows the answer to this?
Sir, I think only 1 kilohertz will be there.
Correct. So, correct. So, the frequency spectrum of this 1 kilohertz pure sine wave will show only one frequency, that is at 1 kilohertz, and everything else will be absent. The conclusion is that a pure sine wave does not have any harmonics. So I can write it like this, that pure sine wave has only fundamental frequency and no harmonics. Okay, so pure sine wave has only fundamental frequency and no harmonics. Now we take our discussion to square wave and Cauchy square wave. So understand one thing, that if I do the Fourier series expansion of both these signals, so expansion tells me that a square wave has only odd harmonics and no even harmonics. Okay, so if my square wave is again a 1 kilohertz square wave, that is, if I say this time period is 1 milliseconds, then the frequency content of this wave will be f equal to 1 kilohertz, 3k 5k, 7k, 9k, 11k, etc. Okay, so 2k, 4k, 6k, 8k are all absent. Now if I do the Fourier series expansion of the Cauchy square wave, I get something very interesting. Okay, so I'll write it here. So Fourier series expansion of Cauchy square wave tells me that there are no even harmonics and odd harmonics which are not a multiple of 3 are present. Getting me? So Cauchy square wave does not have any even harmonics, and only those harmonics which are not a multiple of 3 are present. So again we assume that my Cauchy square wave is again a 1 kilohertz waveform having a time period of 1 milliseconds. Then what will be the frequency content of this waveform? First I will write and then I will erase. Okay, so F equal to 1k, 2k, 3k, 4k, 5k, 6k, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so which will be present? 1k for sure will be present. All even harmonics are absent. 2k, 4k, 6k, 8k, 10k, 12k absent. Okay. Now similarly, what is there is that
Multiple of
all the odd harmonics which are multiples of 3 will also not be present. Okay, so 3k will not be present. So 3k was present in square wave because it is an odd harmonic, but here in Cauchy square wave all the harmonics which are multiples of 3 are not present. Okay, so this is not present, this is also not present. Okay, yeah, so which will be present? 1k, 5k, 7k, 11k, 13k will be present. Okay, so we see here that a square wave does contain the third harmonic, the ninth harmonic, while third harmonic and ninth harmonic are absent in Cauchy square wave. This is not there, this is not there. So what we can conclude, that the harmonic content of Cauchy square wave is less compared to the harmonic content of square wave, right? So we can summarize it like this, that pure sine wave lacks all harmonics lacks is also known as triplet harmonic. So we can say okay. So today we have covered this thing, types of contents, and we also have discussed this. Okay. So types of AC supplies, why diode is called as uncontrolled rectifier, concept of NSP and effect of nature on load will be discussed on Monday. Don't worry, I'm going to print this and upload it also. So So I printed today's notes in PDF form while uploading it on Teams. Actually, I wanted to um, share an opportunity for doing a team in mini project under ESMP subject in the PE field actually. So I'll just show you something. If anybody is interested, I am open to involving 2 to 3 students who want to do TE mini project in the power electronics domain. So I'll just share one block diagram with you on which I'm working. Is one block diagram visible to you? Are able to see some block diagram?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So actually, this is an opportunity for anybody who wants to do mini project under ESMP subject in power electronics. So I am basically making a kit for power electronics lab entitled 3-phase inverter, 120 degrees and 180 degrees mode. So 3-phase inverter is a part of syllabus, but it is not a part of list of experiments. But because it's an important concept and it's difficult for a student to appreciate it on board, that is why I plan to make this kit. So this basically kit will contain the following modules. It will have a power supply which will output up to 24 volts, basically step voltage 12 volt or 80 volt, 18 volt DC, and this will drive the inverter circuit, which is a hex bridge. It will contain 6 power MOSFETs, and it will also give supply to a microcontroller, and I want to use Arduino Uno board. So the plan is to write a program using Arduino Uno script to generate the firing waveforms for 120-degree, 180 degrees mode. So there is a microcontroller Arduino Uno, there's a power supply unit, there is a hex bridge containing 6 MOSFETs, and the output of microcontroller is to be given to an isolator MCT6, which is a dual opto isolator. The output of isolator is given to driver IR2110 or equivalent, and it will be given to the hex bridge. And there is a star connected load here, 3 resistors connected in star fashion. So if anybody is interested to join me in this project, then they can communicate with me personally, and if you are ready, then you can come and meet me, or we can have a Microsoft Teams meeting. I will tell you what is the work involved, and if you agree to that discussion, if you agree after that discussion, then I will take permission from, I think so, Dhende sir is taking ESMP for T8. Am I right? Please correct me. Is Dhende sir taking ESMP for TE8?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I just had a talk with Lalit Patil sir, who is the in charge of ESMP subject, and he told that you can float this idea in TE8 students. You can take 2 to 3 students with you, and if they agree, then you can talk to Dhende sir to accept their involvement as a TE mini project. Okay? Yeah.